All right, let's jump right in. We're not just talking about a sandwich today. No, we're talking about a global icon, a piece of history you can literally hold in your hands. We are going to deconstruct the banh mi, and I promise you, by the time we're done, you are never going to look at it the same way again.
The source we're looking at puts it perfectly. It's like opening the whole world of flavors. It isn't just a meal, it's a full-on sensory event. Think about it. You get that incredible crackle of the crust, the rush of savory and sweet, the fresh crunch of the herbs. It's a whole world in a single bite. And that world? Well, it was born from a very specific and very powerful history.
Now, here's where things get interesting. The material we're working from uses the lyrics of Sia's song Unstoppable to tell the story of this sandwich. I know, a pop song and a sandwich. Kind of weird, right? But stick with me, because it's going to make perfect sense. The story of the banh mi is all about resilience, about a culture that refused to be broken and instead created something brand new and beautiful. It's a story about becoming unstoppable.
So where does this story begin? It begins with a tale of two cultures. See, the banh mi isn't just a Vietnamese creation. It's this incredible fusion, a culinary mashup born from the collision of East and West. A delicious conversation that started, during a really tough and complicated time.
Okay, so look at this. It really breaks it down for you. On one side, you've got the West, the French baguette, which was brought over during the colonial era. But then, boom, it meets the East, and that's where the magic really happens. You get these vibrant, savory Vietnamese fillings, the pâté, the pork, the fresh herbs that just completely transform it into something totally new. So let's walk through how this all went down. First, the French introduced the baguette, but the real turning point is 1954. After the First Indochina War, the Vietnamese people didn't just adopt the baguette, they reclaimed it. They took it and made it 100% their own. And then, after 1975, what starts as this really painful story of people having to leave their homes, it transforms into something else entirely, as those same people carry the banh mi with them to every corner of the globe.
And man, this lyric, it just hits different when you know that history, right? The nation was, in so many ways, broken by decades and decades of conflict. But out of all that struggle, a new message was born, a message of creativity and survival. That's why this sen ro is so much more than just a sandwich. It's a delicious symbol of that spirit.
Okay, so that's the history. Now let's get back to the food itself. I want you to imagine taking that first bite again, because this thing is designed to be a total explosion for your senses, a symphony of textures and tastes. I just look at all the stuff you can put in it. It might have started with some pâté and pork, but today, the options are pretty much endless. Oh man, that smoky grilled pork, savory fish sausages, shredded chicken, all of it packed in with those tangy pickled veggies and fresh herbs. It's not some old recipes stuck in a book. It's alive. It's always changing. There's actually a name for this whole experience. It's called the banh mi effect. It's that one perfect moment, that one perfect bite, where the savory meat, the crisp pickles, the cilantro, the rich pâté, it all just clicks. A total flavor bomb.
So how do you even show that feeling on a screen? Well, our source tries with these sounds. Hey, hey, heat, heat, hey. Think about it. It's the sizzle, right? The heat from the grill, the warmth of the bread, and that signature crunch when you bite down. It's literally the sound of the perfect bite.
And hey, that's not just me making stuff up. The source material says it flat out. The sound of the crispy crust is actually part of the taste. It wakes you up, it gets your palate ready for everything that's coming. It's a truly multi-sensory sandwich. How cool is that? Which brings us to its incredible journey. How does a humble street food from Vietnam end up taking over the world and capturing the hearts of millions? Well, the answer is simple: people.
Yeah, the banh mi didn't just, magically appear everywhere. It was carried. It was carried by the Vietnamese diaspora after 1975. It was people, families, who opened up little shops in cities all over America, Europe, and Australia, sharing a piece of their culture and a taste of home in these new, unfamiliar places. And once it landed, man, it just took off. No breaks. It spread like wildfire, popping up everywhere, in food trucks, in fancy restaurants, and in little local bakeries on pretty much every continent.
And you have to understand, this was way more than just opening a restaurant. For so many, it was a statement. It was like saying, we're here. We have something amazing to share, and you're not going to ignore us. It was about building a new life and carving out a space for their culture, one sandwich at a time. In that spirit, it's a fire that just won't go out. And why is that?
It's simple, really. It's authentic, it's delicious, it doesn't cost a fortune, and it has one heck of a story. That's a recipe for success that just won't quit.
And here's the thing. This story is still being written. The banh mi is not some dusty artifact in a museum. It's alive. It's the face of the future, constantly changing, with new generations and new fillings, but never, ever forgetting where it came from.
Okay, so let's put a bow on this. From these really complex, difficult beginnings, the banh mi has become this beloved global icon. But not like some brand that was cooked up in a boardroom. No, this is a people's icon. It belongs to the street.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Consistently ranked one of the top 10 sandwiches in the world? Check. Loved by legends like the late, great Anthony Bourdain? Check. An absolute must-eat for anyone visiting Vietnam? You bet. It is a certified global superstar.
But you want to know what I think is the most amazing part of this whole thing? After all that fame, all that success, you can still get one in Vietnam for about $1. $1. It never forgot where it came from. It's still food for the people.
It's like, if the banh mi could talk, this is what it would say, you know? It sailed through the storm of history, crossed every ocean, and ended up exactly where it wanted to be, the master of its own sea. It's a food that charted its own course.
So yeah, that's the story. It starts out as just a kid's breakfast in Vietnam, and through everything, war, people moving across the world, tons of creativity and passion, it becomes this global symbol. It's just so much more than a sandwich. It's a whole story about resilience, about fusion, about incredible flavor, all tucked inside that perfect, crispy bread.
And that kind of leaves us with a final question to chew on, right? The banh mi is proof that sometimes the biggest, most amazing stories are hiding in the simplest things. It really makes you wonder, what other everyday food out there has a world-changing story we just don't know yet?